Hello, my name is Renee L. Rose. I'm the founder of Explore Art Talk. With Explore Art, our featured guests, we have meaningful conversations celebrating artistic and cultural diversity that makes our world extraordinary. So sit back, relax, and check out our content. Thank you for joining us today. Marianne,
Ah, yes.
how are you doing?
Good. Are you Renee?
Yes, I am Renee.
It's nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you and that lovely painting in the background.
Thank you.
Did you recently do that one?
I did that one in the spring when the marsh first started to come to life.
Oh, yeah, I love the spring.
Call it snack time because, he's looking for them frogs.
Oh my God. Oh, love. Now this makes me hunger to get back to my painting. I'm an oil painter and I love landscapes. I keep saying that's on my bucket list that I've got to
Uh,
get started again. I haven't painted. It's been quite a few years now, but I miss it.
I
Just to,
took 40 years off.
you took 40 years off?
I did. I had to raise my family, to
Oh,
have a
wow.
career. So yeah, it's never too late. And
Yeah,
I decided it was time. Something was telling me it was time to move on and to get myself into this, while I had time to do this.
yes. So when did you actually start painting?
Oh God, when I was a child,
Yeah, yeah. Did you do it in high school too?
I did. And I did major in art when I went to college.
So if you majored in college, what did you do afterwards? Since you said you haven't painted in 40 years.
Well, I worked in the home furnishing industry.
Oh, wow.
For retailers. So I designed people's rooms and helped them pick out fabrics and got good at that. And then got into management and then got into training. And it just kind of like was a
Yeah.
snowball of, I was successful. I had a really good career, but I didn't have this.
Yeah. Well, that's very artistic though, what you were doing career-wise.
Creative. I
Yeah.
think the creativity and solving people's issues.
Yeah. Yeah.
Surrounding, kind of your composition on a 2D is not that different than a composition in a room. Balance,
Exactly.
scale, color.
Color.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I say to me, it is artistic. I consider that artistic.
hmm
So tell me about your journey getting back into the arts to paint.
So I always had it on the back burner. And my husband and I had an opportunity. We were living in Boston at the time, and we went to see an exhibit of William Turner's watercolors.
Oh,
And I never, of all the different things that I had tried, I had never tried watercolor. And I was fascinated with Turner's use of that medium. And in the gift shop on our way out, there was a book, and it was about how to paint in watercolor like Turner. And I bought the book, and I said to myself, well, if I get back into it, watercolor is something that I can do on my kitchen counter. It cleans up easy with water, it doesn't require a lot of space. And I think that might work out for me. So I started dabbling in that a little bit on the weekends and when I wasn't working. And I found watercolor to be enormously challenging because no one told me that with watercolor, you simply can't paint over it when you make a
Yes.
mistake or wipe it off.
Yes.
It doesn't really work that way with watercolor. Um, so, there were times I was frustrated. I was throwing paintbrushes and paper.
Making a mess.
I felt a little bit, I made a lot of mud puddles. I felt a little bit like maybe I had forgotten. And, I got a couple of pieces done that I liked. And, in that time frame, COVID happened. And when the world shut down, I really started thinking about, well, what is the next chapter of my life going to be like? I thought that I was going to work forever, but it kind of really made me sit down and really think about, if,
Quality of life.
yeah, I mean, what do I want to do? And I looked at where I was living in the United States. I was born and brought up in Massachusetts, and I loved it, but I noticed, this seismic shift in the way that people treated each other. I grew up in a very small town in Massachusetts that was pretty rural, and that just didn't exist anymore.
Mm.
And we had come down to South Carolina kind of as a vacation and started to look around and realize that the climate was certainly better. Um, the people were certainly nicer. The food was good, which that was a
Oh,
plus.
yeah.
And we really started to think about and look at what that might be. And within a couple of years, I retired from my career.
I'm never retiring.
But it was really about, kind of always in the back of my mind pursuing this. And, when I got down here, I was able to have space to have a dedicated studio. And that
Mm.
opened up for me a whole other world of getting back into acrylics and oils. Um,
Yeah.
Dabbled for a couple of years with that, joined, a local art society, and this past April, really, really started thinking about, I really want to do something. I need something than just like this little hobby. So that means either I'm going to be looking for a job, or I'm really going to get serious about my art. And I decided in April to get serious about my art. And I've been pursuing a lot of different things. And
So,
um,
what does get serious about my art mean? Because that means a lot to a lot of different artists. Just
I
painting
understand
some
that.
artists means
For
get.
me, it was um, dedicating time to my art
Oh,
and working other things around it, as opposed to, so art moved up on the priority list.
okay.
um, Devoting a certain number of hours per day or days per week, looking at opportunities and really planning out, okay, I'm in this gallery and the change of show is here. In this gallery, the change of show is here. So when do I have to have work done to submit for that?
Okay.
What are other opportunities for me, in a very tough art market? One of the things that I've done, and I've had some success at it in a very short period of time, is approaching smaller local retailers where, I'm not dealing with a large franchise. I'm dealing with a small store, and usually I'm talking to the owner when I walk in and saying, I'm an artist, but I have a background in retail and in design. And I would be very willing to create a bespoke collection of art that would be appropriately priced, appropriately sized,
Mm.
and appropriate in subject matter, for your clients coming in. And I've had 2 local stores take me up on that.
That's
And
interesting. I like that.
yeah, I mean, I've had
Different.
some success with that. And from that, other things are starting to open. And both of those opportunities were opportunities that I made connections through social media. So, I think like with anything, you can't, as an artist, you can't just sit in your studio and expect that someone's going to come knocking on your door someday saying, I understand you're an artist. Do you have any paintings that I can buy? It doesn't matter how much they are, or how big or how small they are, or what they're even of. I just want to buy it because it's your work. I mean, it takes artists lifetimes, and most artists don't get to that point in their career.
Because a
So,
lot of artists don't have the business side.
right.
I interview artists all around the world, and that's the one thing that I think is lacking in an art degree. I don't have my degrees are in other areas. So I have a whole business side of my life. And I think they don't think like you. That's smart to think like that. They only think about, I'm passionate about my art. I want to just express myself the way I want to express it, and you either accept it the way it is, or well, they don't think like that. I think that's smart the way you did that.
And it's understandable, and I'm not taking a whack at people that approach that art their art that way. But I'm also not. I am being true to myself. I'm not. I like the idea of peace and calm. And I think I think my art reflects a lot about kind of my most recent life journey with what is the rest of my life going to be, in this crazy chaotic world filled with
I
violence,
agree with you.
hate. Here's a piece that brings calm to me and makes
Yeah, and
me.
the colors do too.
Yeah,
Everything about it brings that, calm and relaxing and serenity.
yeah.
That's interesting. So, with your landscapes, you have a certain style. How did you decide on that particular style to do your landscapes?
um that's a really good question. I think the style found me.
Hmm.
And Turner's watercolors, even though they were representational,
Yeah.
were almost very, very early impressionistic. Um, and I like the idea, and I think when you can make art approachable, in that it's something that people know what it is, not overly abstract, but leaving them enough clues that, you still have to your brain has to do some work to tell you that this is light reflecting on the water and these are ripples. It's not a, a photo reproduction of that, but your eye know in your eye in your brain communicate to you what those are. So, I like to leave enough up to the mind to that
One.
you have to think about it a little bit, but not that the average person can find some sort of commonality in my art.
So, since you have a background and your degrees are in art, do you think what you're doing now, you drew from that, or you just it just came from your life experience, or both?
It came from my life experience. It also came from, a lot of what I paint is the beauty that I see in my surroundings.
Yeah.
And I'm fortunate enough that I have a marsh in my backyard,
Oh,
and that
wow. Oh,
marsh,
God, I envy you.
I mean, it changes. Never mind, like hour by hour, it can change minute by minute,
Right.
and um, it's funny where I came from, the city girl or in the suburbs of Boston. The marshes up in Boston aren't a place that you want to like hang out. I mean, it's a place that people probably, there's some dead bodies buried in there. I hope you're not recording this.
No,
But
I am recording this the other
but a
day.
marsh, when you come down south here, the marsh smells different. It looks different. It's filled with life, and it reflects the water and the grasses just the way they reflect the light. It's beautiful. It really is beautiful.
Yeah, because you're in a rural area. I'm in Chicago, but I have relatives that live in the South, and I have a girlfriend that was married. She moved from Boston to back to Whitehall, where she grew up. Totally different. So when you started talking about Boston, I understood exactly what you were saying. Even though I'm from Chicago, when I go to a rural area, this it's just so much different.
Yeah,
The peace and the calm, the tranquility is something you have to, the frequency of where you're at is totally opposite.
yeah,
And it'll make you slow down and take light of your life every moment, as opposed to the city is like, although Chicago is a very green city, it's beautiful. That it has parks. It's absolutely beautiful for a city. It's still, I understand in the rural areas, it's totally different. You can actually see the stars.
yeah, yeah. That's amazing. I mean, I almost forgot what stars look like. There was so much light pollution where I lived.
Yeah. It wasn't like that when I was younger, when I grew up.
No.
You could see the stars, but it got so bright in the city, you can't see them anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's interesting. So, when you do your series for these particular stores, are they landscapes or are you just painting what you think the particular retailer's clients want?
So it depends. I paint things that I like, and those are things that typically are the things that go to the galleries that I work with.
Oh, okay.
Then I paint for the retailers, and that starts with a conversation of, um, so tell me a little bit more about your clients. Tell me a little bit more about what they're looking for. What are they asking for? What are you, when you go to market to buy new items for your store, what are some things in visual arts that you're finding are lacking? Um, and both retailers said to me, it's even though Lowcountry is its own genre, it's hard to find artwork that's decent looking, at that level. So you
Hmm.
have, obviously we have artists in the area that command $10,000, $12,000 for a painting. You've got a lot of artists in the middle, but the artists in the middle, they're all producing things that they like. But the shift on it is to say to the retailer, what size is your client looking for?
Yeah.
What price point are they come? Tell me price point, and then let's talk about size based on price point. Because if you wanna hit at retail this particular price, let's build a painting up to that. I have one store right now that what I'm doing are very small pieces. They're maybe 4 by 4, 6 by 6, and they're things like oysters and crabs and waves washing up on the beach. And in those, they tend to sell those almost as little souvenirs. The other store that I deal with, they have more. They still get a few tourists, but they have more residents that are coming in and saying, "I want art in my home that represents the area that I'm in." And people have never been comfortable shopping in galleries to begin with. So when you can kind of
Oh,
meet that person, where they're shopping, I think that they connect with your art.
so you When you sell to the shops, you do all originals, right? Or do you do prints?
Both. I have one retailer that wants only original. I have another retailer that I do originals, prints, small prints, 8x10s, and also greeting cards.
Oh, I just think that's so fascinating that you decided to do that. Now, the galleries that you work with, are they in the town where you live? Are there?
One is in the town that I live in. The other is a town that's about 20 minutes away from me.
Oh, wow. That's nice. Well, it says something about the area that they have galleries in the area. So
We
that,
have a very, I mean, that was something else when I thought about where I wanted to work. If I was going to do art at whatever level that was, I wanted to be in a community that had a vibrant arts community,
okay.
and we do. Certainly on my list, I would like to get in a more um, noteworthy gallery, perhaps in Charleston or Savannah.
Mm.
But I also realize that I just can't walk into them and say, "Oh, here I am with my fabulousness." Um, you know, I demand that you hang my art. It's not going to work like that.
Have you been in a lot of exhibitions?
Um, I do. So both of the galleries that I belong to have monthly or bi-monthly exhibitions. And
Outside of your galleries, have you seen?
No, I've applied, which is why, that particular area of my photography, the information that I sent you, why I didn't have a lot of those pictures because
Yeah.
um, the ones what I'm finding is that um, around here there aren't a lot. If I got into Charleston, there's more. But I don't have that a lot in my local area, which means what I'm left with is a lot of those national, online exhibitions that you see on social media, which say, "Oh, we'll put you in a book," but the entry fee is $100. It's like,
Well,
come on.
I was thinking more of, um, if you go to certain sites, they do call for artists that are actually physical galleries, but you can be in shows all around the country, even outside of the country, if you apply and send it in. And usually there's a fee for it, but that's how you could get yourself selected to get in more exhibitions
Yeah,
and keep going up. And then by the time you get to a Savannah, they will see the places you've been. You should think about it.
yeah,
Start to apply.
yeah.
I don't know if you have any associations, art associations in your area, but even if you look on Instagram, I don't know about Facebook. Maybe Facebook too still has some, but you will see call for artists for different places. And you could think about entering that, not ones that are online where you'd have to ship and physically send your art. And you're on the East Coast, they've got tons of them.
Yeah.
And even send something to the ones in New York. Send them back to where you were in Boston. Just to, something reasonable. Maybe you could be able to ship that won't be pricey, but to get into the shows. I think you should. Your work is good.
Thank you.
It has good energy. It resonates. So, have you ever had like a solo exhibition or anything like that?
No. The two galleries that I'm with right now, I have the opportunity to. I
Good.
before I'm going to do it. Probably I'll apply sometime in the next year. Um,
You
be,
should.
because I want one thing that I want is I want to develop a theme. I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
don't want to have a solo exhibition with, again, just throwing art up on the wall. I
No,
want to have
most
some
solos have
sort
a
of.
thing. Yeah.
So I've had some different thoughts and different ideas about that. but until I feel like I'm getting close enough, I don't want to be in a situation where I apply for something, they take me on, and then I feel like what I'm putting there isn't to the best of my ability.
What's the largest size that you paint in?
The largest size that I've done up to this point is 24 by 36.
Oh, okay. Okay. Is that your limit or you prefer?
I could go bigger. If I get bigger than that, then I have to start thinking about transporting it.
Oh,
Um,
true.
I have to think about, the two galleries that I'm in are small enough that they do have size limitations. One gallery, we do a lot of outdoor, there's a lot of festivals and stuff in the town, and we
Oh,
do a
that's
lot
nice.
of, stuff with that. So that would be an opportunity to sell the larger work. But, the call for large work right now, at least in our area, isn't what it used to be. Um,
Why is that? Wow.
I really think it's the economy. Um,
Oh, oh,
when I first came down here 2 years ago, I mean, we really were on that tail end of everything's honky dory, and we're just going to spend money on everything, including on art. We still have some of us still have money left over from all the handouts that were going on during the pandemic. Everybody felt like they were rolling in cash, and that dried up real quick.
oh my God.
So, some of the advice that I was given, and I get great advice from the artists I meet through these, the galleries and the associations. But, I was at first told, oh, you need to paint big paintings. People down here are looking for pieces to hang over their mantle, which was the 24 by 36 was a sweet spot for that. So I started doing that, and I did sell one in that size. And then the market just went, and I was like, all
Yeah.
right, I gotta
Yeah.
kind of rethink this. And where is meeting that customer at their price point? Recognizing that in those galleries right now, your buyer is a tourist buyer. So what can they fit in their suitcase?
Oh, yeah. Well, they don't have to ship it.
Right.
Well, Marianne, it is so nice talking to you. I'm so glad you answered my call for artists.
I'm so glad that you gave me the opportunity.